Hey guys, Zach here with EC Education. It should never be an easy thing to restrain somebody. As you hear me talking about this, and I'll talk about it as I keep going, everyone has their dignity, everyone has respect, everyone has the ability to be, free of restraints, but safety is the concern, right? Are they trying to run away when they're asserted and trying to hurt themselves to leave? Are they unable to take care of themselves? So we have to make sure that they're here at the capacity, or are they just being violent, right? So you should really think about restraints as being the last alternative, right? But let's say you made that decision, okay? So right now, you would call for help. You would say, hey, can you go grab a box of restraints? We're going to be restraining. Once the decision's made, like I was telling you, it should be made by two people. Two people in the vicinity of care should both agree this person should be restrained, and then you should restrain them, right? So have a conversation with people around you. You never want to make a heated decision. You want to make a decision based upon the best of the patient. So two people, me and my cohort, my partner here, we agree they need to be restrained. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to restrain them, right? Someone gets the box, right? Even if I got the restraint box, I could still be, trying to do methods to keep them unrestrained, right? Mrs. Smith, please, you must stay in bed. I could use therapeutic communication. I could use some sort of, gait belt, maybe to help her stay in the, bed, posy belt as well. I could try, using maybe a bed alarm. I could try using seclusion, medication. The point is, last option, right? So when we did the timeline, there should be at least 3 tactics that were used other than the restraints, okay? So we're at that point, right? You're going to open the box of restraints. And you're actually going to find 2 different colors, right? You'll have this blue color in the box. You'll have a red color in the box. We typically use the red color for ankles, because if I open these up all the way, you'll notice that the red are just a little bit longer, just because ankles tend to be a little bit wider. So if I was holding these side by side with the belt buckles where they are, you would see that the red extends out a little more. So if you're handed these in a tense situation and you're handed the wrong ones, and you're maybe at the leg and you have the blue, you can just be like, hey, can you hand me the red restraint? Simple as that. That's just how we do things at our hospital. When we're restraining this patient, typically in a perfect world, we always talk about the 70% rule. Your combined efforts to restrain someone successfully for safety should be 70% more than the person weighs. So if we have a 100-pound person, there should be at least 2 people that weigh 170 pounds, 70% more. So that's the math that we talk about for a safe situation. We also always talk about do the best you can, not whatever it takes. That's basically an aggressive stance if I say do whatever it takes. So if I have this patient and I have their wrist, there's going to be someone at the foot of the bed. The person at the foot of the bed is going to be the person that we would consider the spotter, looking for the patient to make sure that they're breathing okay, making sure that no one's going a little bit overboard, making sure that that everyone is safe around the person being restrained. These are all important attributes. There's a person at the head of the bed, directly in front, up here, maybe talking to the patient, letting them know what's going on, letting them know the expectations, letting them know it's okay. The leader and the observer can interchange as they need to. There should also be at least 1 person on each arm. Now, most of the time, you should be focusing on what you're doing. If you're focusing on this person's left arm, you're not focusing on the right arm. You're not focusing on, specifically what's going on over here. Let that person deal with this. The reason we say that is if you're dealing with your limb, and I go to reach over to help with the opposite limb, I put myself in danger here. I put myself right here that I can get bit. They say most of the times that injuries do happen because you're not focused on what you're doing. So remember, slow is fast. We've talked about this throughout the whole program. So if I have my restraint here and I'm working on this, and we have, maybe the person above here is helping with the head, the shoulder. You'll notice that when I do put the restraint on, it's a lockable part. It's got a lock here on the bottom, it's got a lock here on the top. If I put this restraint on this patient, we want to make sure there's at least one finger in between my restraint and the restraint itself of their arm. So that way there's no rubbing, it's not too tight to where it's cutting off circulation. You'll also notice that once this restraint is on and folded over, you do not have to go straight to buckling this. A lot of people make that decision and they go, oh, I gotta tie this out and I gotta lock this. No, you're already secured, and especially if you have a team around you that is going nice and slow and making sure this is happening, talking through the process. You can keep that unlocked. Your priority is to control the limb while looking underneath the bed. And I'm going to bring the camera here closer just to kind of show you. You're looking for a part of the bed that's not movable, okay? So you can see this right here. That's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to a spot on the bed where it's not able to be cut or move while we go through that. So you can see that the more people helping with the situation can be helpful, because you don't, want to be looking at, oh, I got to control the arm, and I also got to control. Once you loop this through and you lock it, right? Then you come back to lock this restraint. There's no reason to stress about locking this wrist restraint because it's already strapped. The reason that we do lock it is that way, if you had two restraints on a person, they would be able to come over here and just pick it off and take it off. So that's the reason for that. Now these restraints can be used for violent, non-violent. It just depends on the way that you chart them. So I'll go in more detail about the charting aspect of this in the class, but I just wanted to show you that restraining somebody with those characteristics. Now, timed release, observer and leader. If I'm holding the all extremities, I'm looking over at leader, I'm looking over at observer. I'm waiting for a head count, I'm waiting for a number, I'm waiting for something, so we release all at the same time. It's called a controlled timed release. The reason we do this is about safety. If I'm holding this arm here and I release here before we release over there, it might be confusing or scary for the patient, where they might sit up and try to flail and go towards another person. But if we all back up at the same time, observer takes a look at the patient, making sure that we didn't miss anything, then we know we had safely went through a proper restraint. All right, thank you so much. Like and subscribe.